All right, welcome back. We're back on the leveling guide, experimental, whatever we're calling it. And let's get back out there for at least one more fishing session here. What a strange lineup there for the cafe. That's unfortunate. It is interesting because those small redfish things are up here in the 75. I just don't know. I think they're better on like foam fish and then some other rigs that we don't have access to. So we'll start at 41, just kind of see how it goes, I think. Ooh, wow. Okay. Interesting. All right, so where are we at here? We've got 2,600 silver. We're fishing with the lurker for the most part. We do have some fillets. We don't need to make bait too aggressively unless it's a like non-marker or something, just because this is probably the last part of this fishing trip. Although this is only our second of third fishing trip, so it's not like it's a big deal if we have a little bit of bait left over. It'd actually probably be a good thing. So we just want to get out here in the hour we have left. We want to try to just make a little more silver, really. It's actually been a couple days since I fished on this account because even though I think the most recent episode may have released yesterday, as of when I'm recording this, on Tuesday the 30th, but over the weekend, especially once the weekend got rolling, I just ended up doing a lot more streaming on my main account. So I just feel a little out of touch with this account, but that's why I'm sort of stating the obvious that we just need to come out here, try to get some good fishing in, make what silver we can, because really all that does is help us. I don't know. I don't know. Helps us with what? Helps us probably get either get a caliber HSV, which, you know, would be amazing to kind of have that jump start with one of those, or helps us get a little less expensive rig if we want to troll with something a little less expensive. I just haven't decided finally. I'm leaning towards caliber HSVs because frankly I think we'll be able to afford one from this trip, or from, you know, at the end of this trip I think we'll be able to get one, and then we just know that we've got to do a ton of bottom fishing anyway. Which is where I might turn some of these episodes into like dual account episodes where I'm fishing on both this account and my main account at the same time. We'll see. Sometimes the lurker in particular does get a little slow overnight, doesn't it? Y'all notice that? It can still be good overnight, and I don't know that anything else is necessarily better. Sorry, it's just like, I'm just realizing we don't have happy hour. For the first time in a long time, we don't have happy hour. So happy hour's over, huh? RF4 game. Forums. What was that under? Probably news, right? No. I'll look while the lure's going down. Not waste time. Could be fishing. Was it under the most recent patch notes, maybe? $35.3. All right, let's go with the 5. What was somebody telling us? No, they weren't telling us. We like looked on their account. I think it was the 10. I think they had caught some really good stuff on the 10. All right, so forums. I literally cannot find it. Oh well. I guess it ended today. I thought it was going into the first few days of June, but that might have been something else. Like, is that how long the sale goes for or something? Oh, we forgot to put fish strips on it. So I think we just take the third trip whenever we want. I don't know that there's any like restriction, or like if we get to a point where we're, maybe we're almost ready to get that second caliber HSV and just need a little bit more silver. Maybe that's the time we could do it. I don't know. Oh, that's a nice cusk. Heck yeah. Real nice cusk. All right, we'll probably switch to that lurker pretty soon. Yeah, I don't know where this thing is. Because it was on the main page of the forums, but I guess because it's over, I don't see it now. Let's see if I'm right on the sale. Oh no, the sale's over too, huh? 28th. This is kind of cool because we're, so far at least, on this lure, we're getting a little bit bigger fish, which is fun. All right. Now that's a little bit later in the morning. We'll go back to the lurker, see how this is feeling. So far, a pretty good start, especially like that turbot and cusk. Decent size cusk. Cusk again. Like I've said before, those cusk will add up though on silver. So we have no safe, no mackerel. I think we're pretty likely to start getting a safe here or there though, now that it's daytime at the 41. Interesting. It's like that fish was waiting on us. You can get so spoiled fishing from this shallow depth. It really took me some adjustment time, like getting used to on my main account fishing in even just a little bit deeper water, because I've just gotten so used to this. Hey, that's a nice place. 7 fish, 5 different species. I love it. This is just going really well. Now that it's full on daytime, Lurker is re-engaged. I think it was a good move using that bond overnight though. And in the early morning hours. $4.5 cusk. It's 3 cusk. We're gonna make our money off the cusk, looks like. Turbot. Ooh, a nice place again. 35.4. That is awesome. That is awesome. Wow. As soon as it hit the bottom. Wow, we are on a place run at the moment. Oh, we ran out of bait, by the way. I guess. And still no saith, which puts us in that weird position of like, if we catch a saith, almost no matter what size it is, we probably want to. We still have a few small fillets actually, so we can get those back on, but we don't have many, 3 or 4. And we have literally just been catching 0 saith, 0 mackerel. But I think that's okay. I mean, we don't have that much of our trip left, and it seems like it still works pretty decent at times, even without the fish pieces. I am a little bit tempted to go try out 55. If this slows down, if this doesn't slow down, there's no need, but if this were to slow down, it's a nice haddock. Now that we got some safe back on there, let's see if we catch some safe. Bright sunny day. Is that more reason to try a little deeper waters? We'll see. It hasn't slowed down yet. So far we're still catching. Oh, this could be a mackerel, speaking of bait. And unless it's like over 500 grams, I'll cut it up. Let's just do it and not think about it. I got his 4 pieces. Oh yeah, what is this? It's not just that it was like full tension, it actually started to try to run on us. All right, we've got him up in the water a little bit, so now we can chill. Now we can chill. We don't have to take as many chances. Let's just keep this decent fish on. It's got to be, well, I don't know that it has to be, but I'd say it's likely a like a turbot or a cusk, right? It's one of those fish that kind of just grabs onto the bottom right when you hook into it. It could be a really nice safe though. What have we got here? Oh yeah, it is a nice safe. Very nice safe. By the way, that's biggest fish caught. Biggest fish caught. And honestly, that's just worth too much. It's just worth too much to cut that one up, I think. Woo. This is going really well out here overall. Still morning though. Okay. Now we've got 4 pieces of macaroni left. No pollock, just haddock today so far. Ooh, could be a... I'd say it's a safe. It's too big to be a macaroni, but it did get it on the drop, which, not that it couldn't be a haddock or a pollock. They sometimes will get it on the drop too. And there probably are other things, but I just find it's... Oh, it was a pollock. Nice. It's so often safe or mackerel on the drop like that. So I was just talking about, we had all haddock. There's 35.5. That's a really nice pollock. What a nice fish to catch on the drop there. Oh wow, look how much slower we've gotten all of a sudden. Huh. It is noon. There we go. All right. So it is noon. The only thing that I'm like, I wish we had a couple more pieces of bait. I mean, we can try it anyway. How far away is it? It's pretty far. This gives me time. I think the trash just got picked up. I need to go get our trash. This gives me a second here. I'll be right back. Well, I was wrong. Trash has not come yet. Oh man, we're so close to 34. The problem is, at least yesterday, I wasn't catching safe at all at 34. We'll see if that's still the case now. The wind's blowing from the north. We better go a little further up. All right, let's see what's biting here, if anything. It has gotten overcast again. By the way, guys, you got to use that blacklist thing. You got to, if people are annoying you in chat, just silence them. You won't see what they're saying anymore. It really brightens your day. At least that's what I found. If people are like, what I've been doing is if people are constantly swearing or if they're constantly being rude to other people, if it crosses a line, I just report them. But if it's not really crossing the line, but it's still just like not something I want to be bothered with while fishing, I just silence them. They're gone. You know, as far as I can tell, they're gone. I think I've added about 5 or 6 people in the last 24 hours. And I see a couple more that are right there on the verge of joining the crew. So, hey, it's a pollock. All right, we are completely out of bait now. And I don't think we're likely to get more bait unless it's mackerel out here. I'm not saying there aren't safe at all here. I'm just saying compared to the 41, I feel like 41 is where more of them were. And I wasn't even catching them on the 41 very much today, so I would just be surprised if we hit more than like one random safe at 34. It's pretty slow here, huh? Without the bait. All right, we're just catching sculpin. Just for fun, let's go see what happens at 55 briefly. We're at the end of our trip here. We've got 1 day left. We've done okay. Pretty well at 41. If we need to, we can just rotate back down to there. But might be worth trying some things out up here just for fun, since it's our last day. And I feel like we've already kind of hit the mark on silver. For the trip. So it's about 14 meters deeper, not around 14 meters based on where you are in the 55 area than what we're used to, but that's still relatively shallow compared to a lot of the places you end up fishing here. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, no bait. Let's just see what happens out here. I tell you what, I've seen in our chat recently, and this has been, I mean, it's really interesting. Although not ideal. It just takes 2 or 3 people playing a ton, putting a lot of hours in, hanging out in chat, and being really sarcastic with each other and others. It's like a contagious thing. Newer players that are just coming to the game, they see that and they're like, oh, I guess that's how we get to treat each other here. And before you know it, like, they're creating their own language. They're being just slightly rude or just a little sarcastic with almost everybody in chat. And it's like the whole culture of chat has changed. And again, I didn't feel like, although there were definitely some people that were crossing some lines. In fact, I noticed one of the people actually got banned from the game, it looks like. So there were some lines being crossed, but for a lot of it, I would say it's just sort of like borderline stuff, probably not reportable in and of itself. But it sure affects the community. It sure impacts the community. All right, so that took a little while to get that bite on. Not too terribly long, but a little while. Remember, we don't have any fish bait on here because we're just completely out. There's a hake. That's pretty interesting. So this is 100 gram. Maybe we should switch to a little bit larger lure. All right, we'll just see what's up here. Just a slight variation in the bottom as you drift. Right here it's 60 meters down. As we move across this 55-meter bar or whatever it is. Oh, weird, we got a little jig step going, which means we probably should just reel it in slightly to get perking going. There we go. Maybe a little more. I mean, I guess it's just drifting a bit. There we go. Love it. You know, we could have tried one of these bonds during the day at 41 to see if they were more likely to get safe, to try to bait up a little bit. Look at that redfish. 35.7. thought there was a fish on for some reason. Something happened and I was like, oh, fish on. That's a good point that Seal is making. Someone's kind of complaining about how Tuba is such a big map. You have to take a boat to get anywhere. But the point that Seal's making that I think is a good point is Tuba's really not the kind of map where you just like go to a spot for 10 or 15 minutes. Typically, you're staying at a spot for quite a while. So yeah, there's a little travel involved. But once you're at a spot, you're probably staying there for a bit. And there's some really good spots at Tuba. Yeah, this might just be too slow, huh? I guess I should mention, not everyone I blacklisted or silenced were necessarily saying inappropriate things. So if you saw yourself on my stream over the weekend or on any YouTube videos or whatever, if you saw yourself getting silenced, that wasn't necessarily because you said something inappropriate. There were just lots of people that were carrying on in conversations and wouldn't let it drop. And I just didn't feel like the conversation was something I wanted to be a part of while I'm sitting here trying to enjoy a fishing game. So I pretty much started just like silencing everyone that continued that conversation, that just kept it going. Oh, look at this, folks. Holy cow. 35.8 and 12,000, almost 13,000 XP. That's big time. That's actually big time. And it will be worth, what, 50 plus silver? That one little crab? Do we ever turn this safe into bait? It just might help the bite rate a little bit. What do you think a 12 kilo safe is worth? 20 something silver? 30 maybe? Not even sure. Long time to wait for 330 gram cusk. I'll tell you that. Oh man. The question is, how much bait are we going to get out of a 12.9 kilo safe? I don't think it's the play. I just don't think it's worth it. I could be wrong, but I don't think we're going to do it. That one will do. All right. So what kind of bait do we want? I think this time we'll go with the small fillets. All right, that gave us 10 pieces. We're back in the game. We're back in the game. What's our test on this, by the way? It's up to 320. We actually could use a large fillet, although that might just slow the bite rate down so much it's not worth it. Plus, I don't think we want to... We could already easily get into some big fish here that we can't get in, especially fishing in different areas besides the 34 and 41. So we probably don't want to tempt the sharks with even larger bait. It's unfortunate that the clouds went away. Felt like we were doing pretty good with the slightly overcast weather. It's going to be interesting. What do we do with the overnight hours? Do we just kind of stay out here and fish and hope we can hook into something? Or do we move to back to 41 or somewhere, try to be a more active spot? I gotta drink some water. Very slow. Could be worth it. I don't know. It probably is worth it in some ways. I just want to go, since we're exploring out here, I want to go try the 75 before heading back to the 41. That's pretty cool. By the way, I'm seeing people in chat also say that their bite rate has died down a little bit, so we might just be going through a slow few moments here on the Norwegian Sea. Although overall we've still done really well. It's just a little harder to get that bite right now. Now the downside of this is it's just a much deeper place than I would prefer to fish on a low level, on a, leveling account. We're really going for quantity, not quality, but might as well try it a little bit. I know some people have been catching some pretty nice redfish up here. And that's what sort of made me think, oh, maybe it's worth trying it. Since this lure did catch a redfish down at the 55. Let's just see what happens. Although I have no idea if they're active at overnight at all. Is it going to be like this all night? Overnight, this slow? Probably. All right, let's see what species this is. Ooh. That's pretty nice. The old whiting trick. Yeah, we don't mind that. Good XP, good silver. I don't know that those bite all night, though. I suspect they don't. That was a quick bite, but that's not a whiting. Might be a small cusk. I don't know. It's a decent little fish, whatever it is. Cusky! So we have now put cocoa on our bar. So if I hit the number 5 on my mouse, we automatically drink cocoa. Which, the other thing that you want to do is you want to favorite these 3 drinks. That way if you hit T, they'll always be at the top, easy to drink. Or you can use your mouse number or number on your keyboard to just drink it from here. gonna be an interesting decision here we need to make. Do we stay here? If we're gonna travel back to 41, this is the perfect time to do it. Kind of think we should. I do love the fish species you can find in these spots, but let's head back down towards 41. All right, I'm gonna use the restroom real quick. Whew. Going straight through 34, huh? So it's 3:37. We left at 2 something. I mean, it takes a little bit of time to travel from one side of the map to the other. A little bit. Okay. Here we go. We'll start with this, but we're going to switch to Lurker pretty soon. Always good when the first cast is fish on the drop, huh? $35.9. What time is it? 4:48. We're gonna go one more with this. We'll switch to Lurker, I think. All right. It's after 5 a.m. Let's switch Lurker. We were definitely catching the sculpin with this Jack's Bond. I'll give you that. Hey, Gingy. Grats on a trophy halibut. Nice fish. Oof. So if you see me opening and closing the bail a lot while we're fishing out here, usually what I'm doing is trying to keep the lure at as low a depth as possible while still being able to achieve the perking presentation. So it sometimes will get lifted out of the water by the current or other factors, and it no longer is staying in that bottom layer. So I'm trying to keep it in the bottom layer, but I'm also trying to get, you know, a certain presentation going. So that's why I'm sometimes lifting and then redropping the lure in the water. We're actually getting a pretty nice bite rate out here, but we're about to run out of bait again. This is one of those times where it might be worth lowering it a little bit. Now we're too low. We can't get the perking. You just gotta kind of find that balance. There we go. I don't know, it's tough. With the current and everything right now, it's kind of tough. %. That's cool. You know, I'd heard someone say, I think someone was recently telling me that they got to 40 or 40 something percent after their third trip out here. They kind of did the same thing. made their 3 trips. So that's probably what we're about on pace for. I mean, it kind of, the higher you go, the more it slows down. So I'd say right now we're on pace for low 40s at most likely. We also were helped tremendously by 3 or 4 happy hours. So if I end up being a little bit higher than average on skill points after 3 trips, I would say the most likely reasoning for that would be those happy hours. Whereas if you have premium the whole time you're doing this, obviously you're going to be significantly ahead. You know, we're not getting a terrible bite rate, although it would be nice to catch a saithe or a mackerel. Just to have a little bit more bait towards our way out here. We're at 36 fish. But, yeah, we just don't. I'm not cutting up that 12 kilo saithe. Longest cast, 23 meters? Good grief. Not bad. $37 fish, huh? And some pretty decent ones. You know, that's the thing to me about if you choose to stay out at 55 or even 75, but especially 55, it may feel a little slower, but you're also getting some different fish species mixed in. Like on my main account lately, we've been catching a lot of wolffish up there. And it's just amazing how much more silver you make when you get some of those slightly less common fish species in your net. So it's kind of like when I was trying to decide if I wanted to stay up there or come back down here, I think the potential of making more silver is significantly higher out there on in the deeper areas. But you could also run into some slower fishing. And since this is the end of our trip, I didn't want to stay out there too long, but shouldn't be this slow, although it just stinks to not have any bait. We could really go for the mackerel. Let's do it. All right, we're just going to pull it straight up. And then we're just going to let it drop back down. See if we can't get a mackerel for bait real quick. We're not going to even cast it. We're just going to drop it right here in front of us. I should put, oh, here, hold on, let's do this. Let's put the 50 meter clip on. just in case. I mean, it'll just give us more information. So now we can look at that clip symbol. If the clip symbol disappears, we've got a fish on. It doesn't work if we don't bring the line all the way back in, though. I mean, I tend to, once I have it in the water, if I'm going for mackerel, sometimes I'll just sort of lift it up and down. And once you start lifting it up like this, of course, the clip goes away. But at least on that first drop, we've got the clip. We could also just perk it here at 15 for a minute. By the way, when I'm bringing it back up, reeling it up, I'm not shift reeling. This could be a mackerel. I'd say it's a pretty good chance. But is it too small? Yes, it's too small. Yeah, so I'm not shift reeling it up. So, because sometimes those mackerel just pop it even when you're reeling up, but I don't think you want to reel up like the maximum speed. All right, we're going to go back to 15 meters, see if we can find another one here. I don't really know if this is better or the dropping and retrieving is better. Maybe just mixing it up. Wind picking up a little bit. Ooh, beautiful. All right, so this time let's go with these strips. 10 pieces. Love it. This current and wind is something. We're getting that crosswind right now. We actually need to move back to the front of the boat. It might be a little easier. Pretty slow at the moment. Ooh, another one. All right, we'll see if we need it. There's 36.1. I think somebody's coming soon to look at our air conditioning from a heating and air company, so I may have to step away for a second. Maybe we should have try a bond again. $36.3. Man. A lot of fish and a lot of levels. In terms of marine fishing. So, I mean, when we started this last episode of the second Norwegian sea trip, we were just over level 20, and now we're, I don't know, 60%, 58% or something in, through level 20. So I think by doing it this way, we are leveling faster than normal, obviously, but we're probably getting silver a little slower than normal, because if you think about all of the bream I would normally catch along with other cafe orders and other types of fishing before we would get to this level in the leveling guide, that is a lot of silver, a lot of cafe orders, a lot of silver. And the other thing we're behind in significantly is our bottom fishing level percentage, which is which has to be addressed if we want to move into like really having carp fishing options and that kind of stuff. So this definitely, for a couple bucks, this definitely gives you bursts of silver and XP in short amounts of time, but mostly what it's doing is, like, in my opinion, is like speeding up the time to level. Because I think typically by this point, if you think about being this level, we would pretty comfortably have some trolling setups for Corey. We might even have started to put together a plan for some carp initial carp setup, starting to work on that at least. Just depends on the route you take, on how much you spend on the Cory trolling equipment. But then you actually start trolling Cory, and you know, if Cory's doing healthy, at least you make a good bit of money there. A lot of the silver does come from Oldberg with Bream. And then you get to Volkov, and according to what route you've taken with what you were using to troll Cory with, you may be able to start trolling Volkov some. And even higher ceiling on the amount of silver you can make at Volkov, although there's definitely been seasons when it's not been as consistent. It just depends. But the other thing you can do at Volkov is you can get back into bottom fishing again. Sometimes really decent white bream, blue bream, regular bream spots, all kinds of stuff, really. I mean, Volkov's a pretty big map with a lot of different species and spots. It just, so many maps have come out now. Volkov just doesn't get used as much as it used to. We're still leveling up, by the way. 36.4. Okay. I thought about trying... This 10's been working pretty good. Let's try it. Big boy sculpin. Just a little bit slower out here than it has been. It's not terrible, but it's just not quite as dynamic out here. Ooh, wow. I don't see whiting down here that often in the 41. I do remember a time when we were catching a lot of whiting out of the 34. That's been a while ago, though. think the AC guy is here. Grass on 23. Conster Monster. Alright, I'll be right back. Alright, I think he'll be working for a few minutes, so we should be able to finish this up. It's nice to see that haddock. I will say that. We should go back to Lurker, shouldn't we? Everything's just going to be slow right now. Lurker might be the best of our options. I can't even get it to do the right thing right now. We're getting a lot of sculpins right now, aren't we? Everything else has dried up a little bit, maybe. We're almost out of time, though. we catch one more fish, please? Yes. Ooh, nice. If it's going to be that size, that's a nice fish to go out on. I bet we don't even have any cafe orders unless a couple of easy ones rolled in. But, I mean, all of our saithe and mackerel we're pretty much using for bait, so just bet we won't. We probably won't have time to even hook into another fish. Certainly not get it in. $10 minutes left. We did figure out last time that it transports us to shore, right? And then next time we log in, it forces us to go somewhere else. We just won't be able to fish anymore after this. All right. Oh, actually, I wonder how long it lets you. It might let you get the fish in if you had a fish on. I don't know. See if we could hook into a mackerel. Or it may stop fish from biting anymore. That's right. This is what we figured out. We have to actually drive to shore, don't we? Because if I relog, it will... I'm pretty sure if I relog, it will mess us up. I'll be right back. There may be a reason why you can't do this, but it would kind of make sense to me to just teleport you. I don't know. When did the last episode actually go up? I'm thinking that this one will come out tomorrow morning. Because I'm about to stream today, I think, so... Yeah, so nothing is currently scheduled. All right, so the stream we did yesterday on Memorial Day is now scheduled for tomorrow morning. So the question is, do I want this coming out on top of that? Probably not. So we may push this either to the afternoon or to the next morning, which would be Thursday morning. Is that right? This place is so cool in here, by the way. They did such a good job. Wow. That was pro something. Pretty sure it was pro something. Alright, so obviously the most important thing is checking cafe. Oh man, if I'd known that, we could have gone for that. That's cool. And, you know, if I was on my main account, we could do that. But, alright. So, how did we do? Price-wise, should be that crab. Yeah, 63 silver for that crab. Okay, 526 silver. Heck of a last day. Yeah, that was good. And I figured it would be this way. It felt slow, but because we caught some pretty good fish up there at the top, it all adds up. We'll take another. That was the most expensive fish, and we got the King's Ransom achievement. Is that for selling a King's Crab? 3,100 silver. All right, so. And we can go to Volkov now, so there's no worries about stock, but I just thought we would take a minute to look at this. So let's say our first purchase is going to be a caliber HSV. That only leaves us that might as well be 2,900. That only leaves us 200 silver. And to start off, at least, we've thought about doing this for 448 silver and then just using the 15.4 load capacity. So basically our load capacity would be 15, which means classic leaders. Which means we're using mono leaders unless we save up and buy. Yeah, basically this is the leader we're going to use. How do y'all feel about mono leaders at Corey? I mean, the other option is buying the leader tool. So this goes from 12.7 to 19. $23. Or we could make 13.8. All right, there's 15. There is 15. So it'd be 136 silver just to turn that into a leader. We figured this out last time, right? How much does a leader tool cost? Well, it's not at the grocery store. It's pretty pricey. But the other thing to remember is we're going to be doing a lot of bream fishing, right? Theoretically, bream fishing and other types of bottom fishing over the next few episodes when we do the dual thing. So we'll be making more silver, like probably like 200 silver at a time if we get in a decent amount of time. This is the other thing we could do, by the way. If we wanted to bottom fish with the caliber HSV before getting the carp rods. These are some great rods for the value, price-wise, value-wise. What does line look like? We probably use mono, right? On the caliber HSV. It just does less damage to it. 13. What are we trying to get to? We're trying to get right up to 15. Is there a way to do mono at 15? Yeah, 14.5. It's not that expensive. A couple of these, we're in business. 14.5, and then to start off, maybe we try mono leaders. And then if we want to spend the silver on the, I mean, at some point you want to. So it's just a question of timing on the tool that allows you to make your own leaders. Anyway, I think that's where we're at. I'm going to go ahead and purchase the caliber HSV. That's the deal. I'm so sure about this being our next step. Okay, so let's talk about what the other options would even be if we wanted to consider other options. First of all, on stream yesterday we were talking about this. You have to be level 24, and it's a lot more expensive, but I really like the look of this as an alternative like carp reel. Just throwing it out there. All right, so caliber HSV. I think the other thing to think about is maybe the Titan. A lot less strength, but it's a little cheaper. I just don't think it's worth it. So at 36,584 and 12.7, 36,272, but 15.4. This is just so much stronger. The Titan just has a huge spool on it, to be honest. It's what makes it a little bit tempting. You got to be level 22 to use this sucker. That is a really strong reel. But the ones that are more price range of the caliber HSV would be like around this one. And again, you just don't have the strength. I guess you could go up to this one. It's a lot less spool though. This is more if you know you want to do spin fishing and you don't want to use it for carp. Maybe you consider that. I don't know. Where's the, just for trolling Corey, obviously the Saber 60 is always an option. I think this is a reasonable option. I've used this to troll Corey before. I mean, if you're considering the Saber 60, you consider the Pulsar as well. You know, for trolling Corey, reasonable options. I don't see getting, you know, the gold 80 costs pretty much as the caliber HSV. I mean, not quite, but it's close enough where I just don't see the value in the gold 80 or the alpha anymore. It's just not enough strength for the price. Again, unless you're just spin fishing, then maybe you can consider it. Still like the caliber HSV a little better though. I don't know. It's tough. I think the value is just right where you want it with the HSV. So I think it's actually kind of hard to find competitors that aren't either way more expensive or just have a lot less strength. I think this is the reel that they've been letting us use on this trip, right? Azimuth 10,000. And for getting started out here, it's really fine. And I was just looking at the price. So this is exactly like what I was just showing you for this being an alternative for like carp fishing, the 6,000. It's the same reel, it's just different color. But I mean, it's only 22,000 silver. I know that sounds like a lot if you're just leveling up or low level. But that's a nice reel. It's really nice. It's just cool that there's so many more options now. I mean, in the past, people were just kind of like, yeah, it's Vinga. Just save for Vinga. I actually like the Avia 8000 a lot for carp fishing, at least. I got the Megaras. Those are great. The Tagaras are still great over here. Vinga obviously is still very good and versatile. Goliath is sort of one of the new reels. This 3000. It's just so much power. I just don't know that I wouldn't necessarily do it for carp fishing, but in terms of having a really good reel for the sea, if you wanted to do spinning reel, it's pretty sick. Big spool. So another thing worth considering. So much to consider. All right, let's get our caliber and let's call it a day. We have 246 silver. And we have nothing to fish that. We can't use that caliber HSV yet. But that's fine. I think that's just worth it in terms of the silver we've made on these first two trips. It's been good. All right. As always, tight lines, everybody. I will see you next time.